Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, text number 62. Ete He abhyutitaha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Devaha na eva asya uthapane ashakan punaha avivishu kani tam udhapayatum ramat etehyab yutitadeva naivasyot thapane shakan punar avishu kani tam udhapayatum kramat etehyabhyutitadeva naivasyo thapane sakan punar avivishu kani tam uthapayatum kramat etehyabhyutitadeva naivasyo thapane sakan punar
Ete hi abhyuthita deva naiva sutthapane shakan punar avivishukhani tam utthapaitum kramat.
Manifested. Devaha, demigods. Na, not. Eva, at all. Asya, of the Virat Purusha. Uttapane, in waking. They entered. The apertures of the body. Uthapaitum, to awaken. Kramat, one after another. Translation. When the demigods and presiding deities of the various senses were thus manifested, they wanted to waive their origin of appearance. Upon failing to do so, they re-entered the body of the Virat Purusha one after another in order to awaken. Report. In order to wake the sleeping deity controller within, one has to rechannel the sense activities from concentration on the outside to concentration inside. In the following verses, the sense activities which are required to wake the Virat Purusha will be explained very nicely. Text 63. Call and response. Anirvacha mukham beje no datishtat tadavirat Pranena nasike vayur no datishtat tadavirat. The god of fire entered his mouth with the organ of speech, but the Virat Purusha could not be aroused. Then the god of wind entered his nostrils with the sense of smell, but still the Virat Purusha refused to be awakened. Akshini Chakshushadityo Nodatishtattadavirat Shotrena Karna Chadisho Nodatishtattadavirat. The sun god entered the eyes of the Virat Purusha with the sense of sight, but still the Virat Purusha did not get up. Similarly, the predominating deities of the directions entered through his ears with the sense of hearing, but still he did not get up. Text 65. Tvacham Roma Biosadyo
Noradishtat tada virat.
Etasa shishnam apastu.
Etasa shishnam apastu.
Noradishtat tada virat.
Noradishtat tada virat.
The predominating deities of the skin, herbs, and seasoning plants enter the skin of the Virat Purusha with the hair of the body, but the cosmic being refused to get up even then. The god predominating over water entered his organ of generation with the faculty of procreation, but the Virat Purusha still would not rise. 66.
Guram mrityurapanena. Nodatishtat tada virat. Astavindro balenaiva. Nodatishtat tada virat.
The god of death entered his anus with the organ of defecation, but the Virat Purusha could not be spurred to activity. The god Indra entered the hands with their power of grasping and dropping things, but the Virat Purusha would not get up even then. Text 67. Vishnu charanao.
Vishnu gatyaiva charanao. Nodatishtat tada virat. Nadir nadyo lohitena. Nodatishtat tada virat.
Lord Vishnu entered his feet with the faculty of locomotion, but the Virat Purusha refused to stand up even then. The rivers entered his blood vessels with the blood and power of circulation, but still the cosmic being could not be made to stir. Text 68. Shutribhyam udaram sindhu.
Shutribhyam udaram sindhur.
Nodatishtat tada virat.
Nodatishtat tada virat.
Hridayam manasa chandro.
Hridayam manasa chandro.
Nodatishtat tada virat.
Nodatishtat tada virat.
The ocean entered his abdomen with hunger and thirst, but the cosmic being refused to rise even then. The moon god entered his heart with the mind, but the cosmic being would not be roused. Text 69. Buddhya brahmapi hridayam.
Buddhya brahmapi hridayam.
Nodatishtat tada virat.
Nodatishtat tada virat.
Rudro hrimadya hridayam. Nodatishtat tada virat.
Nodatishtat tada virat.
Brahma also entered his heart with intelligence, but even then the cosmic being could not be prevailed upon to get up. Lord Rudra also entered his heart with the ego, but even then the cosmic being did not stir. Is it on? Text 70. Can you give your feedback about the audio to Bhakti Caleb? Chitena hridayam chaitya kshetrajna pravishadyada viratadaiva purusha salilad udatish tata. However, when the inner controller, the deity presiding over consciousness, entered the heart with reason, at that very moment the cosmic being arose from the causal waters. Text 71. Yatha prasuptam purusham pranendriya manodiyah prabhavanti vinayena nothapayatum ojasa. When a man is sleeping, all his material assets, namely the vital energy, the senses for recording knowledge, the senses for working, the mind and the intelligence, cannot arouse him. He can be aroused only when the Supersoul helps him. Purport. The explanation of Sankhya philosophy is described here in detail in the sense that the Virat Purusha, with the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the original source of all the various sense organs and their presiding deities. The relationship between the Virat Purusha and the presiding deities, or the living entities, is so intricate that simply by exercising the sense organs, which are related to their presiding deities, the Virat Purusha cannot be aroused. It is not possible to arouse the Virat Purusha or to link with the Supreme Absolute Personality of Godhead by material activities. Only by devotional service and detachment can one perform the process of linking with the Absolute. Okay? So we'll keep an eye out for Maharaj in case he would like to give a comment. And okay, so the imagery here is that there's the universal body, which is a type of temporary incarnation of the Lord. So it's different than the other incarnations in the sense that his body is actually made of matter and is ephemeral. But he himself is the source and the cause of the Virat Purusha, or the universal body. So we heard some descriptions before that, the rivers are like the circulatory organs of the body, such as the veins and the smaller ones, and the blood vessels, and there's the various parts of the body, like the eyes, which are like the sun and the moon, and there are the hairs, which are like the trees in this material world. So this description actually happened 3 times in the Srimad Bhagavatam about the universal creation. And it's interesting that there would be so much time spent on that topic, but this happened to be a very important series of instructions for various personalities to awaken to their perfection of God consciousness. So because the Srimad Bhagavatam is actually a record of various conversations which have to do with Krishna, then it so happens that multiple times this topic was required, or it was the will of the teacher to speak these things to the student. So it's interesting for us as hearers of the Bhagavatam in full, as we have it, these 18,000 verses as were presented, by Vyasadeva on this earth planet, the Bhagavatam is actually unlimited. The Bhagavatam means that which is in relation to the Supreme Lord Bhagavan. So the Bhagavatam is actually unlimited. But in our case, we're hearing it multiple times. So it's actually very amazing for us because we interact with this material world through our working senses, our knowledge acquiring senses, or our senses for recording data or information or knowledge. Right? When we hear something, it gets recorded, either more or less. And when we touch something, that sensation gets recorded, either more or less. And depending on our sensibilities or our sensitivities, then such information may be recorded more, and such information may be recorded less. So it's stated in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita that according to one's past karma, then he receives a set of senses which are grouped around the mind accordingly. So the pig has a particular sense of smell, which he gathers information with, and the human has a particular sense of hearing, which he gathers information with, and it varies between persons. Also, one devotee, as soon as he hears a Hare Krishna tune, he can reproduce it. Yeah, it's quite wonderful. And another devotee, as soon as he hears something from the spiritual master, some knowledge, then he may be able to hear that, recall that one. Or as soon as a devotee touches the feet of Srila Prabhupada, he may remember that sensation to touch there, or the smell of the fragrance of the flower offered to Krishna. It may stick quite strongly in the mind. So all of these activities in the material world in relation to the Virat Purusha, or the universe, do not arouse the presence of the Supreme Lord. Or you could say, the analogy which is being drawn here by Prabhupada is saying that simply by exercising the sense organs which are related to their presiding deities, the Virat Purusha cannot be aroused. And he makes this analogy here. He says, it is not possible to arouse the Virat Purusha or link with the Supreme Absolute Personality of Godhead by material activities. And this is very important. I've mentioned this before, but it's relevant. Some of us, when we come to Krishna consciousness, we may explain to the other devotees, yes, I went on a hike and I had an awakening spiritually. Those going on the hike and having a spiritual awakening may have coincided, but there was something different about the hike, which is the real important thing. It was the service consciousness. It was this seva bhav that was present there. It was the mood of service that somehow manifested during that time. Similarly, many times it's more often, especially in America, you will find boys and girls, and they say, yes, I took such and such of a material substance which stimulated the chemicals within my body, and I had a spiritual awakening. This verse and purport actually puts that to rest. No, it's not that by a material activity you had a spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening you may have had, and if If you're talking with the devotees and you're associating with the devotees, you certainly had one. There's no doubt about it. But it wasn't because we did the substance. You know? It was because something inside of me, I actually awakened my connection with Krishna through devotion. And this is what's so amazing, is that even if somebody does something sinful, if one does such a thing for Krishna, even without full knowledge, even just for the universe, which is most people are on that level, right? The universe, you know? The universe led me here today. Why did you listen? Because there was a little spark of devotion for the universe. You know? That's the idea. So this is the beginning of devotional life. And actually, this is when there's a verse that says, Bahunam janmanam ante, jnanavan mam prapadyate, vasudeva savramiti, samahatma sudhirlabha. Such a great soul is very rare. One who takes many births. Bahunam janmanam ante, after many births, right? Jnanavan, one who is the possessor of jnana, of knowledge, right? What does he do? Mam prapadyate, he surrenders unto me, Krishna says, right? And what does he know? Vasudeva sarvamiti, everything is Krishna. So the universe, or this rock, or this moon, or this water, or this ground that I step upon, all of these people that I see, all the jivas, they're actually all Krishna. You know, everything is coming from Krishna. Everything is Krishna. Of course, Vasudeva Savramiti, this verse has to be also paired with Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. That yes, the living entities are nothing but Krishna, but the living entity is not Krishna. You know? Everything is him, right? But not that I am him, in the sense that I am a part of him, right? Like that. So this is important information. So, but it starts with this, only by, Prabhupada writes, only by devotional service and detachment can one perform the process of linking with the Absolute. So I was mentioning, in the Bhagavad Gita it stated, do not disturb the minds of the ignorant. Instead, encourage them to work in the spirit of devotion. Encourage them to do it for Krishna. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. At the beginning, and it can happen fast. That's the thing, is that depending on the readiness of a particular soul, you can help them go very fast in devotional service and take big steps voluntarily with inspiration. But say we meet somebody, he's on the plaza and he's going in to have a lasagna or a steak or something, or a burger, okay? We wouldn't recommend it unless you're getting one of those items from Gaura-Nitai's plate at the temple or one of the devotees' homes, right? And nothing to do with any unofferable food items, Krishna Prasada, right? We wouldn't recommend any of the devotee to, you know, take that, because, you know, we're going to get some karma according to Krishna in the Gita. But if I go to him and I beat on his head with my knowledge from Gita, and I make him feel bad or discouraged, then how will he do anything with the spirit of devotion? He'll say, these so-called devotional people are bullying me. Right? It's actually really, it's really important, But what can we do? Say, you're a spirit soul. Chant Hare Krishna. And if he does, he'll get a huge credit. And then, because the Lord was in his heart, it's actually been aroused by that devotional activity of chanting Hare Krishna, then all of a sudden everything can change for that person. His whole life can change, because guess what? If they chant one name of Krishna, then they will have removed more sinful reactions than they can even perform. So as long as we're still chatting with them, they're completely sinless. As soon as they leave our association, right, then they may do some sin in a very short time. We know that even walking on the ground or breathing is sinful without Krishna consciousness, because we'll kill something by accident, because we live in this crazy material world where you have to kill things when you don't want to, So anyway, we have to help people act in the spirit of devotion. So they do that, like I was mentioning, with the sweetness. So I was talking to Maharaj in the car yesterday, and he said, you guys, he said that he thought maybe there was an overflow from the stadium thing that people do. They watch some silly thing at the big stadium. So he thought maybe a lot of people were in town still because of that, because it was kind of busy yesterday. It was only Tuesday. And he was saying, he started role-playing, and he said, well, we get excited about such and such stadium activities, and you guys are getting all excited about this Rath Yatra thing, bringing Jagannath up and down, and you make a big hoopla about it and all that. So what's the difference? And I took a stance. It was kind of a hard-nosed stance, and I said, it was interesting the way I responded to it, revealing. But I said, by our activity, we're actually transferring ourselves to the spiritual world, and by your attachment to this silly activity that you're into, then you're going to hell. But it was the way I said it. It's true. It's a fact. These activities are a waste of the human life, and that means we'll get some karma while we do them. And that means I have to go down, because it's not pious. Say we were going to plant trees, okay, we will go up. But if I'm killing bugs, then I have to go down. So I get both. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is, Maharaj said, well, you sound kind of arrogant. I said, well, yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. The way I was speaking was arrogant. So he said, I think you should think about kindness. Just be a little more kind. So I thought that was very nice feedback, that we should be kind to the people, because everybody's suffering out here. If we feel for them, we say, this living entity is just like me, and he's suffering like anything. I'm suffering. I'm suffering every second of the day. Only when I'm absorbed in kirtan or some service can I actually forget about how much I'm suffering. And this person doesn't have any kirtan. He's got no books from Prabhupada. He's got no knowledge. He's just completely scared because he's got no clarity in life. He can't make decisions because he doesn't know what's up and what's down. And the modes of nature are giving him trouble every second, just like the rest of us. So I should be kind to him. Right? So Right, so that's the idea, is that we have a lot of patience and tolerance, especially with those who are taking to Krishna consciousness because they're not ordinary, right? Because they agreed to do something in the spirit of devotion, right? They awakened the Virat Purusha, they connected with Krishna, so they're very, very special souls. Okay, thank you very much for tolerating me. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the Sangha devotees. Okay. Would anybody like to add anything here? We can break because I went over time, but if anybody wants to